What is going on, everybody? Thank you for tuning in to another edition of On the Road to Victory. I am your host, Jimmy Smith, and I hope you're all having yourselves a fantastic day. We are here. It's Tuesday. I am running on fumes here, but we've got some Eagles news here. Heard from Nick Sirianni and Howie Roseman today at the NFL Combine. So going to keep you up to date with everything that happens this offseason, and they had a few things they talked about. Obviously, they're not going to give away too much here, but look, we got to hear from them, and I thought, some interesting things. Some of the media is going to try to run with some of these things, but I thought we could talk about some of the things that stood out, and I brought some of the Twitter posts from some of the Eagles media that was there, able to watch it and do whatever there. So let's check it out, ladies and gentlemen. Appreciate each and every one of you sickos taking the time here today, hitting that like button, subscribing, commenting, whatever you're doing. Cannot thank you enough for the support, but let's rock and roll. Coming over here, we've got Tiffany. Let's go, and I appreciate that. Look, appreciate all of the kind words, prayers, everything you guys. You guys are just too kind. Love each and every one of you. Hope you're having yourselves a great week so far. Wheels, my man. Hope all is well with you. Nice to see you in the chat, my man. Let's get this thing rocking and rolling here, and we're going to start it off with Howie, the man who talked first. And before he even got to speak a word, D'Amico Ryans hit him up, and he had these words to say: Howie, I can play linebacker for you. That son of a yo. So love D'Amico, man. Oh, man. If you guys remember, like, how crazy is it as you get older? Like, I mean, I'm watching kids now play, that I watch, and it's crazy. But just D'Amico, it really wasn't that long ago that he was here on this roster. And, obviously, he's going to, have a soft spot in his heart for these guys. So just joking there. Obviously, he's just joking. But I think that I would happily take D'Amico back, with some of the linebacker play we had last year. But look, we've got the draft and free agency coming up. So don't worry, the Eagles will be looking to improve the roster. Now, Howie was asked a bunch of things, but let's just talk about some of the things that these guys took notes on here. And they talked about the younger players. And I think we got to see a good amount because of injuries last year, but Howie had to say, when we look back, and Coach and I have talked about it a little bit, it's okay to play some young players. It's okay to get them experience and kind of see what you have. And I mean, you definitely should be, because, we have a good chunk of veteran players we knew that these young guys were going to have to step in for sooner rather than later. So yeah, you want to see these young guys, you want to be working them in, and you're going to see a lot of these guys with much bigger roles this upcoming season. And I'm sure we'll add some young guys that will have opportunity to play right away also. Now, up next here, we can see that, look, again, these are just all the tweets I picked up. So it's about how we do improve. How do we get better as quickly as we can? Certainly, we weren't good enough last year. We are in a position where the standard is competing for a championship. My job is to do all I can to help that. So we know that it fell apart last year, but we looked great at the beginning. Yeah, we had some struggles, but this roster was built to win. So how we just keep doing your thing, has been drafting very well, been making great signings, trades, all you can. But, you never know with injuries and things, that could happen. So we got to improve quickly, and I think we will. I think we have enough ammo. I've shown you with it, with the draft picks, cap space, we'll be all right. And we talked about all areas when asked about the defense. And a lot of people talk about, oh, we got to get a corner. I think that's one of the lower positions. You got to get a linebacker, safety, edge rushers, interior defensive linemen. We're pretty stacked, but hey, you could add some there if you want to. But all positions are pretty important right now. And, we talk about Isaiah Rodgers coming in here. I think he can help you on the outside. On the inside, you've got Maddox and McPherson, but Rodgers can play a little in there. So you've got, competition at corner, but do not think that doesn't mean we can't add in this draft or free agency. So all areas, and not just on defense, offense as well. The one asked about Hassan Reddick, he said, Hassan, obviously unbelievable player for the Philadelphia Eagles. Love having Hassan. And then he talked about, needing to balance the present and the future. And that's why you heard, the media try to get carried away with it. But, he obviously knows his contract. This is his last year. They're going to be, gauging the market, talking to players, talking to other teams, talking to, Josh Sweat has a contract coming up. So whatever they need to figure out, and you drafted Nolan Smith for a reason, but I think that you give it some time here. Obviously, again, you've got the draft and free agency coming up. So you've got a lot of things to decide whether or not you should move on. I think you should keep him, but it all depends on if you could just restructure that contract, give him an extension, let him retire here, whatever he's trying to do, whatever kind of money he's looking for. You have to, meet in the middle somewhere. So we'll see. He wants to be paid top dollar. That's pretty hefty price tag. And, we like young guys. So looking at the present, looking at the future, looking at all things, but Haason Reddick, I would be happy to have back. Now, talked about Fletch and Kelsey. I believe he would probably throw BG in that mix too, but maybe BG's just coming back because we know BG's coming. He wants to. So maybe we'll just sign him. But Fletch, Kelsey, they've got more, decision to make. And for Fletch, he could go somewhere else. And Kelsey, man, I'd love to have him back, but we'll see what these guys decide, and we'll give them a little time here, and then we will go from there. And then the last thing I have from Howie here on DeVonta Smith. Obviously, DeVonta is an incredible person, incredible player, homegrown. Without getting into specifics, he is obviously not the kind of guy we want to leave. So, yeah, man, you've heard so much chatter about that. Dog, we are going to extend him. I promise you that. There's no rush. People freaking out. Why isn't he extended? Dude, there's no rush. He will get his contract, and he will be here with the Philadelphia Eagles. Homegrown talent. Drafted him for a reason. We like to keep the guys we draft. We like to pay them when they are good. So he's good. And I do think he will be here for a very, very long time. So for Howie, continue doing what you've been doing. And you obviously learned. You had some horrible years. We still hear about Justin Jefferson, GK. Yeah, we know. A lot of teams passed on those guys. So I think for me, just keep doing what you're doing, listening to the scouts, listening to your financial guys when it comes to the cap stuff, everything that you need to go through. And Mufasa, indeed. And I love me some D'Amico Ryans. Think Haason is staying well. It's all going to come down to what happens there. And you guys know, been posted about L'Jarius Sneed. Obviously, the top corner out there, lockdown, just bleeds Philly. So all about it. And, yeah, you saw me say about the young guys stepping up there earlier. Hype to see some new faces. Yeah, man, I love this time of year. And I love going through free agency and then the draft, man. It is just, there's so much talent, for guys that are in the NFL, guys that might be in the NFL. So much to talk about. Hopefully you guys have caught the free agency show that is out, the series. We've got the offensive line, quarterbacks, running backs, receivers, tight ends, all out. Every single free agent available who I think the top fits for at each position, what the Eagles have going on at each position. Go check that stuff out. The defense will be out. I've already started the defensive line, and that's one each year. I try to separate where it gives me an opportunity to teach people like these guys are interior defensive linemen. These are edge rushers. So in this scheme, they're a defensive end. In this scheme, they're an outside linebacker, and trying to explain what the Eagles have, because each year there's confusion. I just saw another post today. Oh, the Eagles are trying to get rid of Haason Reddick because he doesn't fit what the Eagles, their new scheme. And it's like, dog, this is the fourth year of running this kind of scheme. He fits perfectly what you're doing. That's why we got him originally. That's why he's perfect right now, and I'd like to keep him. So I will explain that again for a fourth year. If you've missed the defensive breakdown, you can go check that show out. But I'll explain it throughout free agency, the draft, everything, why we're looking for a certain type of player, all that stuff. But hopefully you guys are enjoying that stuff so far. Now, let's talk about Nick Sirianni. And he had some good things to say here. He talked about Kellen Moore. Says he hired Kellen Moore because he feels like he's the best guy for the job. He's been successful every place he's been. Like the way he thinks about football. Always had respect for him from afar. Now, Chargers, not so much success there, Nick. But I think for a young man, very young coach, I think he's been successful so far and has a very bright future. So I'm with it, man. I think, you guys know how I feel about the hire, but he explained that on defense, Eagles turned over the coaching staff so much to give Vic Fangio an opportunity to bring in his guys. On defense, Sirianni talked about blending the two offenses. So some of what they've done with the new ideas with Kellen Moore here, the new OC. So for me, we talked about this with Vic Fangio, probably going to be a lot of overturn, a lot of different coaches, and that's exactly what you got. He's bringing in his guys, a lot of great guys, and go check out that video from the other day breaking down every damn new coach. So I keep you up to date with as much as I can, but get excited because a damn good staff. Vic Fangio, essentially the head coach of that defense, Then you look at the offense. We talked about probably going to retain some guys, and we did. We retained a good amount, and he only brought Kellen Moore brought with him Doug Nussmeier, the quarterback's coach, and then he has I think his name was Kyle Valero, an offensive assistant. So other than that, we retained most of the other guys, and we have good, assistant coaches. So I wasn't against most of those people staying. So all about it. Again, go check out that video. Every single coach on the staff you'll get to know. But I think that, you knew Kellen Moore, he's going to be the play caller here. This is going to be his offense. But we do have a lot of things that work. And a lot of the guys, a lot of the coaches we have know what works for this team. So they're going to blend it together. And, a lot of people are going to freak out about that now. And it's like, we're not going to do the things like the repetitive dumb shit over and over again that fail. That's not what you're doing. You're using the things that work. So I'm all about it. And you know how excited I am about both coordinators. Now, referring back to his core values, Nick Sirianni kept doing when he talks about fixing the issues, says accountability and connecting are the cornerstones, and the Eagles are tripling down on those. And it's true, man. The fundamentals of the game, and then just the little things, the accountability, connecting with each other, being a brotherhood. We didn't see much of that on the sidelines last year. You talk about Big Dom not being there. You talk about just the energy being down. So we need to get that spark back, man. And I'm all about doubling down on just his core values. I think those are all good things, and bringing the energy, everything they need to do. Let's go, man. Let's get it together. Now, they had asked him about treating players differently here. He said that leadership also is figuring out what buttons to press with different guys. You don't treat everybody the exact same. The standard is what it is, and you hold everybody to that standard, but you don't treat everybody exactly the same of how you get to that standard, how you correct that standard, or how you praise that standard. Everybody's a little different. And I agree with that, man. Some people take to getting yelled at. Some people you got to coddle a little bit. So everybody's different, especially on the football field. There are different ways to coach them up. So I think for me, that's an obvious thing there, but you saw the media already trying to run with that. Hilarious. But no surprise there. And then you see asked if Jalen Hurts needs to be more of a vocal leader. People lead in different ways. You have to be yourself. Jalen has special qualities that people will follow and want to follow. He needs to lead how he needs to lead. So they continue to try to create narratives about Jalen Hurts and can't do this, can't lead this way, got to do this. It's hilarious. The dude is stoic. He keeps it real. No one cares what these turds have to say. Jalen Hurts is the truth. They will find out this season. Let the man lead exactly, and he is a leader. So hilarious. Sirianni also said that Jalen Hurts will do everything necessary to find out what he needs to do to get better, then do it. And I talked about that this offseason. Well, let's be real here, for about 3 seasons. And you remember my journey to try to get everyone on board with Jalen Hurts. We talked about with his trainer just what kind of person he is, how he took to coaching, how coachable he was, how good of a player he is, but how he continues to get better. And that is why I felt so confident he would develop, and he has continued to do so. But that's one of those things. Jalen Hurts is driven to be the best and will continue to try to be the best. And that's all we can ask for here. So let's go, baby. Now, got a few more things here. Sirianni said that he had success at running back with no matter who's there. Said, I don't like that. DeAndre Swift had a great season, but he knows that he can fill that role if Swift isn't back. Now, love to have Swift back, but we can make things work with different backs. We talked about the free agent running backs already. We'll talk about guys in the draft. Definitely some candidates out there. My number one free agent candidate was DeAndre Swift. So bring him back, use him correctly. I think the kid will shine, but we'll see what goes down there. But confident we can do whatever we need with Kenny Gainwell and whoever else we add. And then he talked about A.J. Brown. A.J., not only is he one of the best players I've been around, he's also one of the best teammates. In my opinion, the best receiver that's ever been in Philadelphia. And he talked about, T.O., and he talked about Mike Quick. And, dude, we've had some greats here. Deshaun Jackson, Harold Carmichael. I mean, we could go on and on and on. And I think for me, there is a plethora of guys, depending on your age, you could sit here and talk about. And, for me, A.J. Brown has been one of the greatest receivers we've seen. So the way the fans and the media have treated him the past year, really haven't liked that. I've been pretty pissed off with everybody attacking him, trying to, create narratives. Just really annoying. I think that he is great, and they're going to find out. Pissed him off this year. Go shine A.J. Brown. Then I've got here on Hassan Reddick. I don't know how that will play out. He's played really outstanding football. Hopefully he's an Eagle. So we all want him back, but we know that there is a business side to things. So it is what it is. We'll figure out, hopefully, how to keep him. But either way, we'll see what goes down here. And we've got a lot of things to go through here this offseason. And, already, as I've told you, this train has gotten moving, and it has been quite a ride. So, look, all the coaching stuff you need to know, all the cap updates, the offense on free agency is done. I have already, literally on the way home from work, was getting ready for this one. After I watch some of that, then I try to get some of the graphics done for the interior defensive line, the edge rushers, and linebackers. I'm working on all this stuff, trying to make sure you have it before free agency, and then the draft is going to make my life just completely insane. So looking forward to that, but let me know your feelings on this draft, on this presser, on free agency, whatever is on your mind. Love to hear it. Going to get rolling out in a minute here, but I appreciate each and every one of you. Teresa, appreciate you taking the time. Glad you are tuning in. And Wheels, we all hope you are doing well, my friend, and glad to hear that. And my man, Troy, let's go. Getting a little party brewing in here. Just about to roll out. Linda, let's go. Grateful for how the Eagles organization responded by anchoring the coaching crew. Thumbs up to the call. New coaches, great way to go. Yes, indeed. And, you talk about have to add those coaches, those right coaches, that defensive head coach, right? Vic Fangio, you get Kellen Moore, more creative play caller, all the things we've asked for. You get those guys in place. You allow them to bring in their coaches, and, you retain the ones you like. I think they've built something special there. We went through, talked about each coach as they were hired the other day. I don't know if you guys caught it, but made a breakdown of the entire coaching staff so you can see what it looks like. Every single coach, talk about the new ones, their resumes, everything you need to see about those guys. But this puts a foundation where now players will want to come here in free agency. People will be excited when they get drafted here. The flame is not out for the Philadelphia Eagles. People, this team's going to suck. I've heard some of the most hilarious stuff. And it's like, dude, we haven't even had free agency or the draft. Yeah, we fell apart at the end of the season, but we've got some great building blocks, a great foundation here. Look at the young pieces you do have. You look at the offense, you still got Jalen Hurts, A.J. Brown, and DeVonta Smith. Who knows if you bring back DeAndre Swift, but you've got Dallas Goedert there. You've got a great offensive line still, regardless of Kelsey, and whatever happens with Jurgens and Steen. Then you talk about the defense. You've got Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis, and sure, you're figuring out Sweat and Reddick. You're hopeful Nolan Smith picks it up, but you will add to edge rusher. You will add everywhere. Yeah, we got questions at linebacker. Yeah, we got questions at safety, but you got some great young pieces. Who knows what will become of Nakobe Dean? Maybe Reed Blankenship will continue to develop. You look at, Sidney Brown, very excited about his future. Some great young corners. So, excuse me. I think a lot to get excited about here. So, I'm pumped up, and I couldn't agree more. Linda, I think 100% this team is building something special here. My man, Wheels, appreciate you appreciate you, dude, and I'm doing all I can and running on fumes here. And tomorrow I'm going to be real with you guys. Got a servicing to go to and stuff. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to put out anything. If anything happens, I'll try to make a live video at some point, but these free agent defensive videos are insane. Putting them together, the list of all of them is just insane. And then I do the top fits, which is insane. So, but I'm doing all I can, between, the 2 seconds I have in life and being there for Chelsea and being there for the family right now. So I will keep pushing out that content. I promise you guys will continue to be up to date on everything. If anything happens of importance, I will talk about it. And I had posted earlier about the L'Jarius Sneed stuff. You guys ever want to comment on that stuff? I don't make videos on rumors or things I want to happen like that. But you ever want something, it becomes such a talking point. You guys do want to talk about it. I mean, we can throw it down there. But look, I'll be here Fan Friday live. I know that we'll be breaking it all down, but I'm going to do my best to get out interior D-line, the edge rushers, the linebackers, corners, safeties, and the special teams. I'm going to do all of them. We're going to get everything out of the way for free agency. Then we'll kind of recap everything. We'll talk about my top picks on offense, defense, and free agency, and then right after that, baby, it is on to the draft. And we're talking about it just like we did with free agency, where we go through each position, talk about what the Eagles have. And then at that point, you talk about who the Eagles have signed at each of those positions. So that gives you an idea of like when that time period is, right after that initial wave of free agency. So going to do my best to keep you up to date with every single thing you need to know this off season, as we like to call in these parts, sicko season. But look, I saw my man Tim, the pictures of the stickers, the shirts you got. Anybody else who ordered some of that stuff, please send me those pictures. I want to see you guys. I'd like to see you wearing them. I'd like to see you out and about, whatever you're doing, where you're putting your stickers, whatever, your mug, drinking out of your coffee, whatever you're doing. I love every second of it. So I cannot thank you enough. And Patrick, my man, I hope you are doing well. Hope things are turning around for you. There's been a rough spell, and to each of you going through something, we're all at some extent going through something. So I'm here for you. Just know that always. You guys ever want to reach out, always here for you guys. If I don't see it, reach out again. You want to just shoot the shit with the birds, comment down below. I mean, anywhere you can find me, you see all the social media platforms down below here. But I cannot thank you all enough for taking the time here. Hope you're having a great week so far. I will, again, not so sure tomorrow. Taking off work and just financially not so great right now, but yeah, you understand. So things going down in the family here. We're gonna make it through here, but I will be back when I can. Until then, I am Jimmy Smith, and this is On the Road to Victory. And I love each and every one of you. Hope you have a great rest of your week. Stay safe out there, and as always, say it with me now, go Birds!